We all writing the book of our lives every day, one chapter, one day at a time. And at any point in time, you can pick up the pen and say, you know what? These last 5 chapters, I don't really like them anymore. So let's figure out what I want instead. So if I know I don't want that, what do I want? And so looking after myself, caring for myself, studying something really different, understanding that there is more to life than work and career, right? It really opened up my eyes to a whole new world.
Hey everyone, this is Kim O'Neill from the Every Day is a New Day podcast and live show, and you're listening to the Going North podcast with the hilarious Dom Brightman. Be sure to subscribe to his show so you don't miss any episodes, and remember, every day is always a new day.
And today on the super special podcast highlighting super special awesome humans, it's the Going North podcast. That's right, GMP, the great, glorious, and glamorous. And when you look at today's guest, you're probably like, man, he's freaking right. Glamorous indeed, because my goodness, this wonderful lady right here is a business and success coach with an impressive, you heard that right, folks, impressive, impressing upon you hotelier background in the luxury hospitality in the #1 ski resort in North America. And she supports ambitious women entrepreneurs, coaches, and leaders to redefine success with elegance and create the impact, income, and freedom they desire in business and in life. And in the year that shall not be named, 2020, oh, I named it, my bad, this wonderful lady right here became the best-selling author of a super special, awesome book, AWG, Achieve with Grace, A Guide to Elegance and Effectiveness in Intense Workplaces. So let's give it up for the wonderful, terrific, and luxurious, if not long-lasting, Theresa Lambert. How you doing today, Theresa?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a brilliant way to start my day, getting to jump on this incredible podcast and chat with you. So I'm loving it.
That's right. It's a chocolate connection. From white chocolate to milk chocolate. It's going to be a great day. That's right.
Expect a lot of laughter today.
Yeah, that's right. One other thing to expect about this show is cavities, because I'm pretty sure with all introductions, I probably missed a whole bunch of stuff. So am I filling in any things I may have missed about the wonderful, tantalizing Theresa?
You have not missed anything really, I feel like it's always fun to leave some mystery too. If you give everything up at the start, then why would people want to come in and find out more? Isn't that the magic of life? Add a little sprinkle, leave a little mystery. I love it. It's so fun. I think we all take life so seriously, and achievement and accomplishment and success, and there's so much more to us than that. We're like really fun humans who talk about unicorns and corn near the bathtub at 7 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Long-time listeners know I love corny jokes, and I'm the self-proclaimed colonel of the corny joke kingdom, and one of our past guests actually gave me a nickname, the Punisher, because of my deadly puns. So, yeah. Yeah. One of my life mottos is a growing a day keeps the wonderful negative at bay. That's right. Yeah. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so with all bubbly personalities like yourself, like a lot of folks may think, oh my gosh, she's like this all the freaking time. And since we're all freaking human here, we all have days where we may be feeling not so bubbly and feel like bubble got popped by like outside circumstances. So what helped you to really get that wonderful bubbly personality and sustain it, if not really keep it up, even when times are interesting as they are now?
Oh my God. Yes, the last 2 years, have been a wild ride. And, my bubble definitely got popped in the last 2 years. But also, what led me to this, I think that through my career, and particularly my hotel career, which led me actually to write this book as well, I got so serious. I was really just focused on success and getting the title and having the money and having the power and having that, you know, praise from the outside world that says, here's your stamp of approval. Like you are, now validated. And the thing is, once I got there, it was just all so serious all the time. And I started to realize that really life wasn't much about living anymore. It was really just about, they say, make a living. I was making a living. I was making a good living, but was I really feeling alive? Was I really laughing enough, loving enough, living enough? Like, I think that we get so caught up in it. And I burnt out. I was really exhausted. It happened to me over and over because I didn't know how to get myself out of that rabbit hole. And so I started a long journey back to myself. And turns out I'm a really funny, bubbly, lighthearted person below all the serious clutter. And so, yeah, I really, it was really hard to reach a pinnacle in your career. I was a young woman, like I was 29 when I got that GM job. And we had a lot of success once I took over the property, and it was amazing. But when you're there and it feels like you don't want it, like you're stuck, it's a really crappy place to be, right? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, but I thought once I'm there, I'm going to be happy. I thought once I'm there, things are going to be easy. And now I'm here. And, you know, not that it all sucked, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And when we rush all the time through life and take everything so serious, right? Like, this is what ends up happening. We get to a place and we're like, oh, was that where I wanted to be? And so when I started this journey, it was almost like a journey, in. And I started to, study human behavior and understanding what drives high performance and understanding, what leadership truly is and what success truly means to me. I was like, huh, this is different from the story I was telling myself. So, once you have awareness, though, then you can choose what are you going to do with that awareness you've created? Because we all writing the book of our lives every day, one chapter, one day at a time. And at any point in time, you can pick up the pen and say, you know what? These last 5 chapters, I don't really like them anymore. So let's figure out what I want instead. So if I know I don't want that, what do I want? And so looking after myself, caring for myself, studying something really different, understanding that there is more to life than work and career, right? It really opened up my eyes to a whole new world. And ultimately, I was like, you know what? It's time to move on and jump into coaching full time and help people. Particularly, my goal was helping people in the hotel industry run their business more efficiently, help their teams, help their leaders, because burnout is so high in that industry. And then, well, that was January 2020 that I left. And well, then we all know what happened. They all shut down in March. I'm
Mm-hmm.
laughing now, but it's not, in that moment, it was like, holy shit, like, what
Yeah.
am I going to do? Like, my entire plan around my business just went poof and it was gone. And that was an interesting, pivotal moment. So I've been saying, and I've had this fun conversation actually on my podcast that I host with my co-host Blair, Dissecting Success, and we were talking about getting shift faced. You will like this, and it's really about shifting and transitioning, and that we're always in this transitioning point. And I said, I really feel like since I jumped into my business full time, I've been shift faced. I've been shift facing.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that remained, everything I do, whether it's in my business or personally in my life, it all boils down back to one key thing. I want to have fun. It's got to feel, good. And it's got to be something that to me comes naturally. Like those three things, like fun, ease, and authenticity in every single thing I do. And what do you get? a bubbly, light-hearted person that likes to crack jokes, that has fun, and that just doesn't take life so serious anymore. And that's really helped me through the last 2 years in this, crazy world we live in right now.
Ah, yeah, shift faced. That's right. It's so true. Heck, as you're saying that, it reminded me of this classic meme. I think it was Will Smith. It was like comparing a younger Will Smith to the character he played when he was older in Pursuit of Happiness. Where it's like first when you first start your business, and then the other side it shows like 2 or 6 years of business, where you look like 20 years older, like the president's coming out of their 4 8 year terms, looking freaking 20, 40 years older than when they got in
Uh,
office. In a short amount of time because of all the crazy tops, it turns, twists and
oh my
turns, and
God.
yeah.
Well, it's
So yeah,
so true, right? You're
yeah.
living in a big plot all the time. So it's like, ooh, what's coming? It's like drum roll or the mystery sound, and then you're like, oh, should I look around the corner? What's coming? And then you're like, crap, I didn't want that. Let's close that door. Another gray
Mm.
hair. Yes, yes, it can really do. You know, business, doesn't it have like a seriousness to it? And
Uh,
why? But why? Why does it have to have that, right? I like to
eh.
question things the way they are.
Oh no, that's actually the way to go because I still remember like hearing one presentation where one of the main points of the speaker was sometimes you have to unlearn certain things, and when you're unlearning something to learn something new, you got to question things. Like this is really in this age where you really do have to question everything and seek out the truth and find out some facts that will really point you in the direction you need to go. Not where you always want to go, but where you need to go. Because sometimes you want to go somewhere and then universe, God, whatever term folks like to use, it's like, I got something bigger in store for you. Don't worry, that was a bear trap. You just didn't see it yet. It was covered in pillows and marshmallows and a unicorn horn. Don't worry. It was all a trap. It was an illusion. It was all an illusion. Here's the butterfly purple rhino right here for you so it can fly higher.
I love that. Yeah, the unlearning, even the willingness to unlearn, I think is a big one because it's comfortable to know and it's uncomfortable to unknow something you've known because it's like, but it's worked at one point and now it's not working for me anymore. Or like even your thoughts, right? Like I always say that, like with clients, and I practice this, like is like a ritual to question the thought that's coming in, right? Like, is that really true that I don't have time to go for a walk right now? Is it really true that I don't have time to crack a joke in the middle of the podcast? Right? Like, is that really true? Like, is it really true that you have to be serious to be successful? Isn't that another thing to like learn and unlearn though? I mean, technology. Before this whole like Zoomy thing, right? I always was like, everything needs to work well and, technology can't go down. And then I was like, no, this is another thing where it's like, you know what? You fall off, you get kicked off the podcast, you get kicked off the Facebook Live that you do, like whatever. Just come back. Just come back. Doesn't have to mean anything. And I love that because, again, there's a lightness in that situation, right? Where you can freak out about it, or you're like, actually, this is brilliant. We paused and we're back.
That's right, back in black indeed. And speaking of coming back, you actually came back in last year, wrote your first book, and that's into the business of immortality, Awaken with Grace. So, what inspired the title?
Oh, what inspired the title? The title was probably the hardest thing, to nail down. I have to say, I started writing my book in lockdown. I pretty much wrote the whole thing in 28 days. And what inspired me, I think I really wanted to share my perspective from the hotel site and what I went through and how I was able to actually figure out how to create a resemblance of what people would call work-life balance, and to be able to take off time and have all that and bounce back from that place of exhaustion and burnout that I was in. And so for me, it was really about sharing my process, my story in the hotel world, and that it is possible to do it a different way. And so, Achieving with Grace, that title really came from the idea that we don't often see high achievement with like grace and elegance, right? Like it's kind of that thing where you're like, well, this doesn't work together, but it does, right? I can be a high achiever and I can be graceful. I can be successful and I can be joyful. Like, I can have a high power career and I can have time off. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other, but it's also the grace we give ourselves, the grace, the space to claim more for ourselves and to redefine what our life has to look like for us to do all the things that we want to do. And so this is really where the title came from. And the book ultimately was like a soul cleansing experience for me. It needed to all come out, to process, to, also close off a major chapter in my life. And it felt really good. So I got to shift phase into the next phase.
Ah, sweet. That's right. It's always great having the book boomers on the podcast. I like to call the folks who published books last year book boomers, since in the US of A we had the whole baby boomer thing after World War I, where books came back and had a bunch of babies. Well, COVID happened and, well, folks had a lot of book babies. So, yeah.
I love that. Book boomers.
So, yeah.
That is so awesome. It's so true. I mean, I found myself and I had nothing to do and I had a bit of a cold. So I think I didn't leave my house for like a month, which was like weird. And I was like, okay, well now at least I know I can also survive house arrest. Like, check. Right?
Is this a confession?
No. No, it's not. But these are these are the random things I think about. I always wondered what it would be like.
She was doing a podcast the whole time, y'all.
Oh,
That's what really happened. There's your alibi.
yeah.
There you go. You have an alibi now.
Oh.
Don't worry. It was totally somebody else. It wasn't her. It was a him. It was somewhere. Yeah, somewhere way out there. Probably in Alaska, maybe. They were talking about burnout. Burnout doesn't happen there. They got igloos, especially in the deepest parts of it. Oh, man.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was writing a book and just staying home. I mean, I came from so much, like it was a weird, odd kind of time for me anyways. Starting like I think January 15th was my last day in the hotel, and waking up even without emails pinging on my phone and hundreds of emails and, pressure off like showing up and leading a big team. And there was so much changing for me already that by the time the whole pandemic thing happened, it was just kind of like weird. But I was already home and I was already like figuring out, business stuff. And so it was kind of just like, like just something added and sprinkled on top, but I was already in this changing time for myself, right? Because I already made a major change in my life. So some things like working from home, I was already planning on doing anyways. But the book was good, I never knew that writing could be such a fun experience too, and an enjoyable experience. I mean, I love to journal, but a book seemed like, it was going to be hard. And again, the story, right? Unlearning. I just started writing. creative flow. We can call it that.
Ah, yeah, creative flow indeed. You're doing an audiobook for the book too, right? Hopefully.
I haven't, but I have been thinking about coming up with some sort of a way of doing an audiobook version. So everybody can stay tuned for that. Because some people just like to listen, right? So I do like the idea of doing it and yeah, having an audio version of it or even a book podcast. I mean, where you read chapters and then talk about it. I'm like, wouldn't that be kind of fun?
Oh yeah. Definitely be fun on the bun indeed, because your voice needs to travel even more, yo. I'm telling you, it needs to travel more. So, magical question I like to ask every guest to get them thinking is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often when you're on the guest side of the game on these podcasts?
I would say, I think it's around this whole idea that we have to be bubbly and happy all the time in order to live a really fulfilling life. And I think emotionally, I think we have such a beautiful spectrum of emotions. And so, one of the things I like to really share with people is that, you can be in the trenches, you can be going through something really, really tough in your life with your business, financially, in your relationship, who knows, like what's happened in your life, and still be able to find joy in little things and still be able to find laughter in little things and still be able to be successful doing other stuff. I think that so often we think once we're emotionally caught up in one thing, everything else needs to fall apart. And so we don't have to lean into that and tear everything down with it, right? Like you can have your focused energy and emotions around one thing and then be really intentional around how you want to approach the other things. And that doesn't make you, inauthentic or any of that stuff. That just means that you found a way to really, you know, use all the range of the emotions that you're capable of feeling and having and applying the right intention to different things. So you can have a pod broken down and in shambles, while some other things go really, really well. And the things that go really, really well can become a fuel to make it through those tough days or those tough moments, and everything passes. You know, I gosh, I'm gonna hack his name, Maxwell. Ugh. Anyways, probably have to look it up, but some very brilliant person, and somebody might recognize this, said that we've made it through 100% of our most difficult days. And that is really a powerful reminder. So if something in your life's going wrong, you're gonna make it through the day. And if there's things that go well in your life, let them be well. Don't make that mean that everything else needs to go as well. And I think that those are some conversations we should have more often, because this idea of perfection around our emotion and showing up, it's so overrated. And you're a human being. Use all those emotions, feel them all, accept things can go wrong, and accept at the same time you can still have beautiful experiences too.
That's right, y'all. That's right indeed. It's okay to have emotions, y'all. There's power in emotion, y'all. They're in our bodies for a reason, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right indeed. It's okay to feel them. That's right. Just because somebody's cheerful doesn't mean it's all the time. It's not 25 hours a day, 8 days out of the week. That's not even a thing. Like, it's not true, y'all. That's right. Off days happen, but hey, we're still on. That's right. It's just that we're on in a different way.
Yeah. Off and on. You get to be both.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You get to both be chocolate and vanilla, yin and yang. That's right. Up or down. That's right. Oh, then again, it's going north. It's always up here. Even if you're going down, you're still going north somehow. It's okay.
I love that. We're always going north.
Ah,
That is beautiful. Mm.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Ah, yes. Another fun question. This you probably haven't even heard this one yet. So, if your particular book was a food item, what would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. If my book was a particular food item, what would it be and why? Hmm. I would say it would be, I think I gotta say it's gotta be a cake. It's gotta be a layer cake. For sure. And what I would say is that, I mean, I'm a believer that we've got to have a foundation. So let's give it a good base. Like, think of like I don't know if you've ever had a Black Forest cake. I'm from the Black Forest. So maybe it's going to be like a really quirky Black Forest cake. Okay. You have a very like crispy, sturdy base that you can build on. But then, like, as you add layers, there's like different flavors on the layers. There's like some whole cherries in there, and then maybe there's a raspberry flavor, and then there's a chocolate, base, and like there's some cream, with some vanilla. And then, it might be sprinkled with some glitter, but it's a fun cake and there's a balance to the cake. And when you see the cake, you'd be like, well, that's going to be a really heavy cake. But then when you cut in it and when you eat it, you're like, ooh, this is light. This is easy. I can eat more of this cake. I can keep coming back to this cake. So that's what I would say. It's a light, fluffy, quirky Black Forest cake with different layers and flavors that somehow happens to be light, and you just can't help it but keep coming back to eat more of it. That would be my description.
Ah, there you have it, folks. Teresa gave you a recipe for a quirky Black Forest cake. If you find it and you succeed and people don't die from eating it, send her the recipe. If she decides to
Please
go the
do.
baking route.
That was my original dream, to become a pastry chef, from all you know. And then I spent a night in a kitchen, pastry kitchen. I started my shift at 2 a.m. and at 3 a.m. I was weighing up 6 kilos of whipping cream. And I knew in that moment that this was not going to be for me, because I like eating cake and I wasn't going to eat the cake anymore if I would be doing that job. But thanks to everybody who makes cakes, because they sure are delicious.
There we go. Probably can equate that with books with all the wonderful writing and discipline it takes. So we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time you're in the current year of 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would say enjoy the ride, enjoy the process, have fun. Don't take life so seriously. Just enjoy the ride. Make it awesome. Just whatever you do, make it awesome and fun. That would be it.
That's right. Make it awesome and fun indeed. That's right. Have fun with this wonderful lady today, folks. You are freaking awesome, Teresa. You're freaking awesome. We gotta have you back for a round two. Definitely gotta
Oh
have you back for a round two. That's right, indeed. Heck, we might even make it to round five, like some guests. Who knows?
Oh, who knows? I'd be honored to come back and chat again for however many rounds, because this was so enjoyable. I love chatting with you. So fun. I love the vibe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Nobody can see. I'm like, they can't see that we're like in the groove.
It's so funny. It's like, just me being normal. I don't even have any music in my earphones.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be deep listening to my guests if I had music in the background. That wouldn't make any sense. But for those who need to get that good music, aka your book, and check out all the stuff that you're doing with your buddies in the podcasting space, and heck, maybe even see if you're a good fit as a coach, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Yeah, you know what? I would say best place to come and check out what is happening in my world, what I'm up to, is my Instagram. I hang out there all the time. We can have a real conversation on there. At Theresa Lambert Coaching. That is a wonderful place to go and connect with me, follow me, check out what I'm up to, and you get literally almost a daily update. I do take times where I'm just disappearing for a few days, but most of the time I'm on there. I'll respond to you. And if you want to dive even deeper into all the jam and all the things that go into my cake, then you can head to my website at Theresa Lambert Coaching. And there's some wonderful things and the living room that you can drop in, which is a free space to just get some knowledge, some master classes, add some cherries to your cake and have a good time and come hang out in my world in the living room and be entertained. But this is what I'm like. This is what you'll find. And if you're looking for someone who's lighthearted and also give you lots of business value, this is a good place to go. Go ahead to my Instagram at Theresa Lambert Coaching and you'll find it all.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's right. And now I got Teresa thinking about cake later today, yo. I'm telling you, that's right. It was an unnecessary trap, but it was necessary. It's okay. But head over to Theresa Lambert Coach and head over to Instagram, slide into her DMs, ask us some questions, and then maybe, slide her some, wonderful smackaroos, That's right, maybe a few thousand. Just saying, just slide it in there. Sign up for the email list too. That's right. When you're in the living room and she gives you some wonderful Black Forest cake with all the cherries. You might even come back for, some white chocolate strawberries another round too. You never know. That's right. You never know indeed. That's right. So check out all the stuff she's doing. It's going to be all in the magical show notes. So any parting words before we close up shop, Teresa?
Oh, this was so fun. You are such a wonderful host. I love your podcast. And I think that you can see how much magic you can create from lightness and fun if you've listened to this episode. So, be inspired after listening to this to laugh more and to live more and to just have fun. Don't take life so serious.
How's it going, my friend? I'm so glad you made it to the end. That shows that you are an uncommon finisher, and I am so grateful for you sharing your ears, your attention, and your time to this wonderful podcast to do something that'll take yourself to the next level. And for everybody else involved in this wonderful program, share it with at least 3 people in your network so that way more folks can not only catch the fire that is on this podcast, but can also be inspired to be their best. Advance others to advance yourself.